Guys, we're back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we're going to take a look at this cooler right here, this EZA cooler. I think that this unit is going to be pretty solid, right? Because this is sort of a support type unit that is going to be stacking defense, building up defense. I think that's something you're going to want to see, right? If Dokkan is going to sort of keep going with the format of difficult content that they are, support units are so valuable for the big-time heavy hitters, but you need to be able to run the supports without, like, fear of them getting absolutely obliterated, right? So I feel like these support units, like, if they did, like, under 1 million attack stats, but, like, they're just so overwhelming defensively with their support, I feel like that's the best way to design them. That's why Chi is so OP. Right, she does everything except for damage, but that's what makes her so good, right? It's because she's so tight on everything else. So this cooler, one of the biggest parts of him is his super attack effect. He stacks defense, supreme damage, and greatly lowers enemy attack. You guys know stacking defense is just a very simple way to have some of these characters be a little bit more relevant than they could be otherwise. Then he gets 150% attack and 100% defense start a turn. And he builds up 20% defense with each super attack performed. And then he gives Terrifying Conquer category allies 3 key 30% attack and defense. The last portion of his passive, I don't know, he gives Terrifying Conquer category allies 7% crit chance for 3 turns after he gets hit 5 or more times in battle. That last portion is completely bizarre, right? I don't really know what they were thinking so much with that last portion. Honestly, just give him more defense. That's all we have to do. His link set here, he has Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Cold Judgment, Brutal Beatdown, Nightmare, Metamorphosis, and Shattering the Limit. So no big bad bosses, which certainly is an issue. The fact that they didn't give this cooler big bad bosses is really unfortunate. Because he certainly would have been quite a bit better with it, right? Because, you know, we're going to be running this cooler on, you know, Wicked Bloodline, Transformation Boost, Terrifying Conquer, you know, LR Final Form Coolers team. We're going to be running this cooler on these teams with all these big bad bosses characters, so it's a shame we can't sort of take advantage of that. All right, 3.2 is what he was at right there, huh? Okay. I will take that level of damage for a character that's just a support, right? Like, it's not, that's not bad right there, but, you know, you guys have heard me say this a lot lately. I think you could just cut a huge portion of that damage down, drop him down to a 1 million attack set, and then just give him extra defensive ability instead, right? I don't know, maybe give cooler, so that last part, right, where he gives the Terrifying Conquer's allies crit chance, maybe instead it's a 50% chance to dodge. I feel like that could be very good, right? That could help this guy out a lot in, like, Dokkan Battlefield. That would help him a lot in, you know, Super Battle Road content, EZAs, right? Because, you know, again, now that they're on record talking about this variety of content that they're trying to sort of push and stuff like that, right? All right, so we got another pretty solid rotation right here. We got a lot of coolers links active. What is his defense up to? 210k. Okay. 210. I certainly would like it going up a little bit higher than that, because it's like, we're on turn 4, 210k. It's like, yeah, he's stacking, but a 210k defense doesn't really cut it, right? Like, man, what is the minimum? I feel like a lot of characters, like, you gotta be, like, at least above 500,000 at minimum these days, right? Because it's like, once you start getting to, like, the 500,000 and 600,000 range, now we're talking about being able to tank the normal attacks from characters like Red Zone Omega, Cell Max, Red Zone Broly, right? Like, you know, the 500, 600k defensive range is what we want to be in for a lot of those bosses. So, like, that's kind of the number we're looking for. It is very difficult to survive super attacks from from a lot of those big bosses, but at the very least, I would like to be able to tank normals. And I guess that's just where just raw defense doesn't really cut it in most cases these days, right? All right, so we've had, what, 2 stacks with Cooler. So we have 2 stacks of his passive and 2 stacks from his, whatchamacallit. So 2 stacks of his passive and 2 defensive stacks from his super attack effect. Now we're up to 300k. Okay. Sure. We have everything active here except for Cool Judgment. So this is definitely a very good turn from... Let's see what we get to. I do think that this Cooler is solid, but his defense isn't jumping up quite as fast as I would like, right? Like, I could see this guy getting some use in some stages, right? For sure. But, again, he could be a little bit better defensively. The problem is that they make these characters sort of, like, balanced, right? Where Cooler... For, you know, what is a support unit, I feel like his damage is pretty decent, because he's a support that's stacking defense and stuff like that, right? But I just feel like you cut that damage down, instead you swap that over to defense, and I feel like this Cooler will be a lot more impactful when it comes time to taking down, you know, difficult content. And it's not just, like, red zone stages and stuff like that, right? Because remember that these days... even the extreme Super Battle Road stages, a lot of times are hitting on the level of, like, a lot of these, like, red zone bosses. Normal Super Battle Road stages are not tough. They're not a challenge. Normal Super Battle Road, they just go down instantly to any strong characters, right? But extreme Super Battle Road stages, they do still have the juice, right? Like, they can hit very hard. Some of the best units in the game will take a lot of damage in some of these extreme Super Battle Road fights. Go into the Goku family or the Vegeta family stage of extreme Super Battle Road, and you guys will see, right? All right, so we got another strong turn right here. We just don't have Brutal Beatdown. Brutal Beatdown is the one link we don't have activated. What's our defense up to? 415. So at this point, we've done the 3 super attacks with Cooler. So we have his full defensive buff built up from his passive. And now at this point, we're just stacking up defense. Okay, so I do think that this Cooler is useful, right? Like, let me put it to you like this. He's much better than, like, the Bulma and Vegeta from the 7th anniversary or something like that, right? But I do think he could have been made a little bit better. Okay. I just would want that defense to get high. I mean, you guys know, right? Like, it's like, you can't be playing around. Like, yeah, I know this is only a free-to-play character, but I feel like the way they designed Chilai, she is a summonable unit, but I feel like that's the exact type of design they could give a free-to-play character as well. I don't see any reason why they can't just do that. You know, these support-type units, yeah, see that? Like, that's a lot of... This Vegeta... It's a lot of damage. I know it's type disadvantage, but that's still a lot of damage to take from this Vegeta. So this is not one of the strongest bosses in the game, this guy right here, and we just got destroyed by him, right? Yeah. I would say, you know, just... I'm pleading with Dokkan. One day... You know, we saw they did it with Chilai. One day, they're gonna learn that, like, yeah, with a lot of these types of, like, support-type units like this, just don't even worry about all that damage. It's that sort of balance... just leads to the character, like, not excelling in anything and just being balanced. I feel like it's probably not the way to go, right? We do want sort of, like, specialized type units, because it's like, they just made the red zone, like, style bosses, like, so difficult, in terms of how much damage they could do. 481k right there. Okay, we'll make this the last turn. Let me know what you guys think of this Cooler. I do think he's good, right? Like, this is actually a unit you can run, right, in various modes of content. He does stack defense, so, you know, depending upon how many turns or what the fight is like, right, like, he could definitely build up a decent amount of defense, but I do just wish he could build up even more defense than what he's building up right now. You can never go wrong with more and more and more and more and more defense. You cannot go wrong with it. All right. There's a reason Tech Ultimate Gohan is still relevant years later. There's a reason for it. It's because he's a massively powerful defensive character, right? Like, so many characters these days can put out good damage, strong amounts of damage, but it's not super common for characters to be able to tank these big-time attacks from these bosses. So let me know what you guys think of the TEQ EZA cooler right here. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.